My parents skipped my baby's funeral for my brother's pool party said, "It's just a baby. Your brother's party matters more." I buried my child alone. They had no idea what would do next. I stared at the tiny white casket. It looked like a toy. It shouldn't have been there. It should have been a crib or a stroller or a high chair smeared with mashed peas, but it was just a box, sitting in the middle of a silent gray cemetery. The wind was biting, but I didn't feel the cold. I felt hollow. I was a 26-year-old father standing over the grave of my 3-month-old son, Leo. SIDS doesn't care about your plans. It doesn't care that you just learned how to swaddle him perfectly. It just takes. My phone vibrated in my pocket. I pulled it out, my hands shaking. I expected a call from my mother asking for the address of the funeral home. Instead, I saw a notification from the family group chat. It was a video. My brother Marcus was laughing, holding a beer, and jumping cannonball style into his brand new 50,000 custom-built infinity pool. My parents were in the background cheering. My mother was wearing a designer sun hat, holding a margarita. The caption read, "Finally opened. Best day ever. Love you, Marcus." I felt the blood drain from my face. I called my mother. She picked up on the third ring. The sound of top 40, music, and slashing water blasted through the speaker. "Mom?" My voice cracked. "The service starts in 10 minutes. Where are you guys?" There was a pause. I heard her sip her drink. "Oh, Elias, look, we talked about it. Marcus has been planning this reveal for months. He's worked so hard on the house. It's a big milestone for him." "A milestone?" I whispered. "Mom, I'm burying my son. Your grandson." "Elias, don't be dramatic." She sighed, her tone shifting to that sharp, condescending edge she always used when I inconvenienced her. "It's a tragedy, we know, but honestly, it's just a baby. He was only here for a few weeks. You can have another one." "But Marcus only has one housewarming party. His career, his success. It matters more right now. We need something positive. He was my life," I choked out. "Well, you're making everyone uncomfortable," she snapped. "Go do your thing and we'll see you at Sunday dinner. Wear something bright, okay? Don't ruin the mood." She hung up. I stood there alone. No friends, no family. My wife had suffered a breakdown and was sedated in a psych ward 3 towns over. It was just me and the priest, who looked at me with a pity that made me want to scream. I buried my child alone. I lowered him into the dirt with my own hands because I couldn't stand the thought of a stranger touching him. Every shovel of dirt felt like it was filling my own lungs. As I drove away, the grief didn't vanish. It curdled. It turned into something cold, hard, and sharp. I didn't go to Sunday dinner. I didn't answer their texts asking why I was being a brat. Instead, I went to my father's office. I had a key. I used to do his bookkeeping. My father was a man who worshipped 2 things: his reputation as a community pillar and his bank account. I knew where the skeletons were. I knew about the offshore accounts. He used to hide his firm's earnings from the IRS. I knew about the consulting fees he paid to local officials to fast-track Marcus's construction permits. I didn't just leak it. I curated it. I spent the next 3 days like a ghost, barely sleeping, compiling every bank statement, every email, and every forged signature. I sent them to the state auditor, the local news, and the IRS. But I wasn't done. I drove to Marcus's house at 3 a.m. The pool was glowing with blue LED lights. It was beautiful. It was the thing they chose over Leo. I knew the drainage system was faulty. Marcus had bragged about bribing the inspector to ignore the lack of a proper retaining wall on the slope. I didn't have to do much. Just a little manual override on the high pressure release valve and a blockage in the main overflow line during the heaviest rainstorm of the season. The earth gave way. The infinity pool didn't just leak. The entire hillside collapsed. 50,000 gallons of water and concrete turned into a mudslide that took out the entire lower level of Marcus's milestone home. The next morning, the news was a chaotic symphony. My father was being escorted from his home in handcuffs for tax evasion and racketeering. Marcus was standing in his driveway, sobbing as he looked at the wreckage of his house, uninsured, because the bribed inspector meant his policy was void. I walked into my parents' house one last time while they were being processed at the station. I found the best day ever photo Marcus had posted. I put it in a small white frame. I left it on the kitchen island with a note. "You were right, Mom. It was just a house. You can always build another one. But Marcus's reputation? Your freedom? Those only happen once. Hope the party was worth it. I'm moving across the country tomorrow. I've changed my number. I have no family left. But as I sat by Leo's grave today for the first time, it was quiet. The world finally felt as empty as they made me feel.